So what's the restorative onion, and how can it help me with student behavior? The restorative onion is a metaphor. It's used in restorative practices to illustrate the underlying factors or layers that contribute to behavior. It helps us look underneath the behavior and try to understand what's really going on underneath. Onions are made up of layers, and as you peel off one layer, there's another underneath. Each layer is more intense, more powerful, and hotter than the last, and onions sometimes make you cry. It was adapted from Mike Clayton's onion theory of needs, and he was focusing on resistance, but in restorative practices, we've changed it more generally to describe pretty much all behavior. The restorative onion has 4 layers: behavior, thoughts, feelings, and needs. So let's look at the onion. First, you have behavior. This is the outer layer of the onion, and it represents the actions or the behavior that are observable. These are the things we see people doing and saying, like when a student is talking back to a teacher or a student stands up and runs out of the classroom. Then you have your thoughts. That's the first inner layer of the onion, and that represents the thoughts or the perception of the person, their internal dialogue. What is the student thinking or telling himself when he talks back to his teacher? Probably something along the lines of, "She doesn't like me," or "I don't want to look stupid in front of everyone in the class." What was the other student believing or perceiving when she ran out of the classroom? Maybe something like, "I don't feel safe here," or "No one likes me here." This thoughts layer influences how people perceive situations and make decisions. Then you have your feelings. Beneath the thoughts lie our feelings and emotions that drive behavior. Understanding the emotions of a student is crucial to understanding their actions. So maybe the student felt embarrassed or rejected by the teacher, or maybe they were feeling isolated and alone. It's really challenging to truly get down to feelings because it requires a lot of vulnerability and self-reflection to know how we feel, even for adults. Then you have needs. At the core of the onion are our needs. Understanding the unmet needs behind behavior is crucial to restorative practices. Needs are things that we must have, pretty inflexible and pretty constant. For example, the need may be for the harmed person to be heard, to have their feelings acknowledged and listened to in order for them to move forward. The restorative onion is often helpful in restorative practices because we need to peel back the layers in order to understand what someone really needs to repair the harm and to move forward. Does the person need to be seen or heard, or do they need support or acknowledgement? Do they need an assurance of safety? So this onion reminds me suspiciously of the restorative questions. Check out my video on the restorative questions if you're new to them. But basically, they're a set of questions that guide a conversation so that you can resolve conflicts and repair harm. The questions are brilliantly worded because without shame or blame, they slowly peel back the layers and they get to the needs. Here they are. What happened? So that's the behavior. What were you thinking and feeling at the time? Thoughts and feelings. What have you thought about since? More thoughts. What's been the impact on you and on others? Feelings. What do you need now? Those are your needs. And what needs to happen to make things right? More needs. So when we ask open-ended questions more out of curiosity than judgment, both children and adults tend to respond more openly, they're more willing to take someone else's perspective, and they're more willing to move forward and resolve the conflict instead of getting stuck. In the end, we realize that behavior is just an unmet need made visible. The restorative onion helps us to be curious about outward behavior, and the restorative questions are our tool to delve beyond the surface and address the deeper thoughts, feelings, and needs so that we can resolve conflict, repair harm, and restore relationships.